report reasons why Capricorn can be your strongest support or fiercest rival. If Capricorn were to become a structure, they would be a century-old stone fortress. Outside, towering, cold enough to cut the skin. Inside, hiding a sky of warmth and stillness so deep that even time slows down. Step through the gate and you are wrapped in a rare sense of safety. But every fortress has a deep moat, a drawbridge, and proud walls. Once you break their unspoken rules, the drawbridge slowly rises, without noise, without warning, and you will stand outside, looking in at the place you once belonged, like a stranger. Capricorn belongs to the earth element, ruled by Saturn, the planet of discipline, limits, and endurance. This shapes them into principled people who keep their word and place the protection of their personal energy above all else. They can be gentle, patient, ready to support you through dark days. But all of this exists only within the boundaries of respect. Cross that line and you will understand that a Capricorn can be an ally as steadfast as a fortress, but also an opponent you never want to face on the battlefield. Here are 14 reasons why they are at once lovable, respectable, and absolutely not to be underestimated. 1. Wholehearted help until you become a burden. Capricorn does not stand by while someone struggles. They will step forward, ask, dig into the root of the problem, and listen fully to every detail. Not stopping at shallow words of comfort, they analyze the situation with a practical eye, offer feasible solutions, and if necessary, wade through the mud alongside you. At work, they stay late just to finish the task with you. In friendship, they might call at midnight just to make sure you are okay. But Capricorn never helps unconditionally forever. They are wise enough to recognize when you truly need a helping hand and when you are merely leaning on them to avoid responsibility. Once they realize you have become a burden, they will cut that supportive rope. This decision is not impulsive. It is the result of observation, consideration, and often it is irreversible. 2. Silence. From kindness to cold retaliation. At first, Capricorn stays silent because they want to maintain harmony. They do not waste energy on empty arguments, nor do they speak words they might later regret. Silence allows them to observe more closely, listen more clearly, and notice what others overlook. But do not mistake silence for weakness. When they sense you are crossing their limits, that silence quietly transforms into a sharp blade. While you think they are standing still, they are actually gathering every fragment of information, piecing together the full picture. And when Capricorn acts, it is not a whim. It is a move planned long ago, launched at the perfect moment with precision enough to leave the opponent defenseless. 3. Absolute loyalty, forgiven, but memory never sleeps. For Capricorn, trust is not a gift handed out lightly. They build it little by little, with time, actions, and shared trials. Once they place their trust in someone, they stand beside that person like a fortress, unshaken even as storms arrive. They protect, support, and accompany, not out of obligation, but because they have chosen to give their heart. But remember, betrayal is a wound that never fully fades. Capricorn can forgive, for they are mature enough not to live in hatred. Yet forgiveness does not mean forgetting. Once a door closes, it will not open again. They will still smile, still converse, but that invisible distance will always exist, like a transparent wall that no one can break. 4. Strategic patience, knowing when to wait, stop, and win. Capricorn understands that every truly valuable achievement takes time to form. They patiently sow seeds, wait for sprouts, and nurture persistently, both in their career and in relationships. They give you the chance to change, to prove your own worth. But their patience is not blind. They observe, measure, and when they see that waiting only leads to meaningless gaps, they will walk away, quietly, without drama, without blame, simply and ended. In work, this allows them to step away from dying projects that others cling to. In personal life, it keeps their self-respect intact, and often this ability to wait and let go leads them to victories that the impatient will never reach. 5. Sweetness, honeyed or venomous, depending on how you touch. Capricorn speaks like honey poured into your ear, a steady, deep voice, precise words, each sentence layered with meaning. They don't just listen, they make you feel heard, a rare distinction in this noisy world. That sweetness is like a warm scarf around the soul, softening the sharp edges of a long day. But do not be mistaken. That very sweetness can turn into a thin, sharp, and cold blade. When someone crosses the line, they don't need shouting or rage. Just a single sentence, short, direct, and precise as an arrow, enough to make you freeze as if the entire room suddenly chills. For Capricorn, words are power. They use them to build, to maintain, but when needed, they also use them to end. 6. Standing firm on the ground, yet shaking the sky. Capricorn is not a dreamer lost in the clouds. Every decision they make is anchored in reality, distilled from data, experience, and the ability to read a situation like a living map. In crises, they are the unwavering support when everything around them falters. But do not mistake their stability for immobility. When pushed to their limits, Capricorn will shift the very foundation. They do not create flashy explosions that fade quickly. They change the trajectory of the entire issue, forcing everything and everyone to adjust. Their power is a kind of silent earthquake. Quiet, but when it strikes, nothing remains the same. 7. Dislike drama, but if forced to act, they become the director. Capricorn does not live to seek chaos. They hate meaningless arguments, hate the noise of clashing egos, hate the negative energy that derails everything. Their ideal world is one where people face problems head on, resolve them, and move forward. But if drama comes knocking, they don't run, nor do they get swept into the emotional whirl. They step back, observing like a chess player viewing the board from above. In just a few moments, they identify who is the main character, who is stirring trouble, and where the knot is to control the entire story. Once in command, they not only escape chaos, they turn it into a stage to showcase leadership and strategy. And if you are within their circle, you see a different Capricorn. They do not make empty promises nor put on a show. They protect you with concrete actions, shielding you before danger strikes, standing by when you're weak, sharing the burden when you're exhausted. This protection is quiet, yet as solid as steel. Yet that shield is not for everyone. Once trust is betrayed, Capricorn does not just lower the shield, they draw the sword. And when they strike, it is not a blind explosion, but a precise, cold, and clean cut, so exact that only when blood falls do you realize the battle is lost. Capricorn's love is deep enough to sacrifice, and their retaliation is fierce enough to make betrayal unforgettable. 8. Conditional protection, granting access. Today, withdrawing when needed. Capricorn does not protect impulsively. They operate a silent security system around those they choose, clearing paths, softening impacts, vouching, and quietly taking risks on your behalf when necessary. They invest in you with the 3 most valuable things: time, reputation, and energy. But every form of protection comes with conditions. Capricorn does not issue a lifetime pass. They measure the balance between what is given and how it is preserved. When they see rules forgotten, support taken for granted, or privileges abused, the divestment process is activated. First reducing presence, then minimizing communication, and finally revoking access to their resources, cleanly, quietly, without noise. Do not expect dramatic confrontations. Capricorn does not need to win with sound. They simply remove themselves from the system, and you will hear the structure that once supported you hollow out. Doors that once opened smoothly now feel heavy, for it turns out the force that held them open all along was theirs. For Capricorn, protection is an ecosystem with standards. Respect it and it thrives. Betray it and you are removed. It is not revenge, it is governance. Once the system closes, there is no back door. 9. Hard work and strategy go hand in hand. Some people are diligent like bees, others sharp like strategists. But Capricorn is a rare species carrying both instincts in one body. They work not to show busyness, but to advance steadily toward the set goal. Every drop of sweat matters because it falls in the right place at the right time. In the office, they may be the first to turn on the lights in the morning and the last to switch them off at night. But do not mistake this for doing more. They know which battles to fight, when to retreat from a losing front, and when to give everything when opportunity ripens. This combination of endurance and strategy turns them into a silent climbing machine, unobtrusive, unstoppable, and never swayed by noise along the way. Anyone attempting to block them will eventually be left in a cloud of dust. 10. Silence heavier than 1,000 accusations. When the world chooses to shout out anger, Capricorn chooses silence, a cold, sharp silence like a winter lake. It is not neglect, it is the moment they draw all emotions inward, locking them inside to see every crack in the relationship. This silence is not gentle, it is a void that forces the other person to hear their own heartbeat in anxiety. It signals a wordless truth. The distance is widening and the bridge connecting both sides could collapse at any moment. For Capricorn, silence is the final warning before all doors close. If you understand, you will find a way to cross. If not, you will stand on the other side, forever gazing into the cold void they left behind. 11. Sweetness with sovereignty. Capricorn knows how to use warmth like a light, enough to provide comfort but never allowing anyone to touch the fire within. They can listen for hours, nod gently to encourage, or smile as if you are the only priority in that moment. But do not be mistaken, their sweetness is not an endless stream. It flows with rhythm, with direction, and with boundaries. When they feel exploited, that light gradually dims, without noise, without drama. It is simply a subtle retreat step by step, so you realize that kindness is not an infinite resource. And when you return seeking that warmth, you may only find a cold, quiet void. For Capricorn does not allow anyone to make them prey to their own generosity. 12. Holding the key to weakness, only unlocking when needed. Capricorn reads people like an open book. A frown, a misaligned breath, a fleeting glance, enough to piece together a full picture of you. They know your strengths, your weaknesses, and even what will unbalance you. But what makes them truly formidable is not the ability to gather information. It is how they hold it. Everything is kept in a silent database, not used for threats or manipulation. Only when they or those they protect are cornered does the key turn. And when it does, there is no turning back. One move, one piece of information, one timely word, enough to neutralize danger without another strike. That is why anyone who has crossed this boundary learns a lesson. Capricorn is not the kind of ally you want to become an enemy. 13. Pretending not to care until they vanish as if never existed. Capricorn is a master of patience. They can stand in the eye of a storm, still smiling, still conversing, still making you believe all is calm. But this is only a mask built for observation. In silence, they record every detail, measure every distance, weigh every nuance in a relationship. And when the balance tilts toward no longer valuable, they draw the curtain, fast, clean, without warning. No loud arguments, no words of accusation, just a silent yet absolute disappearance, as if you never stepped into their world. What makes it chilling is this: when you realize when you want to return, the door has long been locked and the key lies deep beneath the ocean. 14. The power of walking the razor's edge. Capricorn is not only strong, they know how to keep that strength from consuming their humanity. They can be gentle like morning sunlight, yet sharp as tempered steel. And strangely, both states coexist, blending and supporting each other. They know when to let the heart lead and when to let reason take control. They open up, but not fully. They protect themselves, but do not build stone walls. In any situation, they walk on the blade between emotion and reason, never leaning too far to one side. It is a balance few maintain, and it is why they are respected in collaboration, yet make opponents wary in confrontation. Because when someone knows both how to love and how to strike at the right moment, you will never know when they smile and when they will end the battle. Capricorn is a fortress, solid on the outside, radiant within. Anyone who steps through its gates will feel protected, nurtured, and entrusted with complete faith. But if you betray that trust, the doors will close with cold decisiveness, and the walls that once sheltered you will become an impregnable bastion. They are the most loyal companions, yet also the most dangerous adversaries. They can sit silently, waiting for you to make amends, yet are ready to turn away without a glance back. They can use gentleness to mend cracks, but also possess the strength to sever every tie in a single breath. Capricorn's distinction lies in their ability to shift states like a blade in the hands of a master blacksmith. When softness is needed, they flow like water. When hardness is required, they stand firm as steel. It is a balance between light and shadow, protection and destruction, a type of energy that makes them both cherished and respected, leaving the deepest mark on the hearts of those who pass through their lives. If you have ever had a Capricorn in your life, cherish them. If you have ever lost a Capricorn, remember, not everyone is lucky enough to get a second chance. What do you think about Capricorn? Leave a comment below to share your story or your feelings. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to catch the next videos about the 12 zodiac signs and untold secrets.